And so, we are now finally on the eve of June 3rd. The date that was decided a week and some change ago to be the date that we as a community would collectively come together and make our voices heard for one final time. This will very likely be the true last stand that we are able to make with regards to this problem, and I feel like there is a vast number of us who are all feeling the same way. To that end, it's clear that the energy building up in the background is incredibly palpable, and it's hard to really overstate that fact. Right out the gate, from the movement's inception, the Save TF website struggled to withstand the rush of people that flocked to the page to submit their signatures to the petition, and even days afterward, they are still feeling the ramifications of the flood of activity. Shork and Wheezy have both respectively been keeping users informed of the current issues, and as it turned out, the number of confirmed signatures being logged onto the website simply pales in comparison to the actual number of attempted signings. At the time I was writing the script for this video, confirmation emails were blocked from being delivered to users due to the sheer volume of messages that were trying to go out. Essentially, it seems spam protections kicked in from various email providers because there was just so much traffic trying to get through all at once. But as I record this, the issue was resolved. Emails are now freely going out to their intended recipients. This was certainly an incredibly frustrating affair, both for the users who were simply trying to show their support for the cause, and for the webmasters who were working hard to ensure that everything kept operating smoothly. But it was similarly a very promising sign for folks who needed some kind of gauge to determine just how much support was truly out there for Fix TF2. In fact, the website was updated to provide some additional insight as to how many confirmations were still in waiting, and let me tell you, 100,000 potential signatures for something like TF2 is absolutely mind-blowing. Now, it's definitely worth mentioning that a good chunk of these held-up emails could be from users who attempted multiple signatures because the system was struggling, or even by users who were trying different email addresses to see if that was the initial problem. That said, even if you were to cut things down by 25 to 30% to try and accommodate for all those possibilities, I believe it's safe to assume that there is still an undeniably large number of people who are in support of Fix TF2. Whether the actual number of petitioners is 20,000 or 50,000 or even the lofty suggested number of over 90,000, there is enough evidence to suggest that there is simply an overwhelming amount of support flooding in. As of me writing the script, the number was 31,481, but as of releasing the video, it may have shot well past that already. Considering the number of emails still waited to go out, I wouldn't be surprised if we were nearing the 6-digit figure by now. Though I'll make sure to include as current a figure as possible for the upload, regardless of what it actually is. All of this and more shows that even after the past 2 years of essentially talking to a brick wall, there is no real fatigue from the community at large at the thought of really trying to fight for better treatment of TF2 from its developer. Of course, there are still those who think the collective majority need to give it up or move on, and I can certainly understand and absolutely respect how those people feel. Sometimes it feels like it's just too much of an uphill battle, and that the energy could be better spent elsewhere. And that may be true to some degree, but I still hold to the belief that trying something, at least one more time, is better than simple resignation. If nothing comes of this final attempt, then I can at least say that I tried. And I will continue to play the game as I always have, regardless of the result. The fact of the matter is, no matter how many people claim that the game is dead or that it is on its way out, Valve as a corporation still sees the game as a viable money-making opportunity. They still approve community-made content for item crates, they still run the Manco storefront to peddle keys and MVM tickets, and I mean heck, they still require a minimum payment from free-to-plays if they want to be able to utilize simple communication features in the game. So they're making money, still, despite everything going on. They see the money's there and they are making it. The bottom line is that if this wasn't worth their time, they wouldn't still be doing this. To Valve, the game isn't dead. They still see value in pushing their microtransactions, regardless of how artificially inflated the player count is. That alone warrants raising awareness about these issues. And sure, we could all collectively throw our hands up into the air and simply move on to the next big thing, but then that brings up additional questions like, why should we even have to be the ones to leave in the first place? Why should the bots and their hosters be the only ones who are allowed to stick around? Why are we obligated to move on to other things when the type of game we like to play is right here? As I've said before, that's not fair. It's clear to a large number of us that the modern offerings available just don't scratch the itch in the same way that TF2 does. I myself enjoy playing Overwatch and dabbling in Fortnite from time to time, but I always inevitably gravitate back to Team Fortress 2, because what the game offers me isn't being done anywhere else. In a world where most other multiplayer properties are leaning towards the live service model, where flashiness and spectacle is the core substance and not much else, where numerous titles in that vein are being discontinued due to the inability to sustain themselves, TF2 continues to be the outlier that, against all odds, continues to survive no matter what happens in the online gaming environment. And there is a very good reason for that. True, a lot of us may be stuck in the past, and I hate to be the one to point this out, but it feels like the past is simply a lot more fun to play around in than whatever the AAA corporations are trying to sell to us these days. TF2 just has such an addictive gameplay loop, supported by a sturdy foundation of incredibly strong game design. For being an old game, the general mechanics and fundamentals have withstood the test of time, not because the veteran players are nostalgic, but because that's just how good the developers of Team Fortress 2 were. It's a bit of a slap in the face to discredit their hard work by claiming that the game is outdated, needs to be put out to pasture, or that it doesn't really have anything to offer in this day and age. Honestly, the fact that their legacy is currently being defined by a problem that Valve essentially allowed to become a problem is an insult to the passion and ingenuity of those who originally worked on the game. If nothing else, we just want a resolution for the issue so that the current tragic state of the game is not how the gaming landscape remembers TF2. And so here we all sit, gathering our videos, sharing our experiences with others, waiting with bated breath to see just what may possibly come from it. 2 years of waiting is about to culminate into one final dive, one more chance to try and make as much noise as possible to make the mountain of Valve finally move. If you really want to get analogous about it, consider this our chance to secure overtime victory with a good old-fashioned pub push. Everyone knows what we gotta do tomorrow, the stage has been set, and the community is raring to go. Tomorrow is gonna be big. Now, before we wrap up, I just want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everyone who watched my previous commentary. I'm just some doofus who had something around 90 subscribers. I didn't really ever do YouTube stuff outside of a few shorts to highlight my Twitch channel, so to see this amount of support for something I cared about is truly amazing. I appreciated everyone liking and adding their commentary and all that good stuff, so to all of you, even those who felt differently than I did, thank you! I don't know how often I can really do anything with the channel, and I don't even know how much of it will always be related to TF2, but, I appreciate everyone who subscribed and liked and even viewed, because even with just one upload, you all saw something in me and what I was doing, so, thanks for that. Thanks a lot! You are great. And with that, I once again leave you all with links in the description to the Save.tf website. If you still haven't signed it, I encourage you to do so, and in addition, share the site with anyone who is willing to hear you out. June 3rd is almost upon us, and it will surely be a hell of a campaign.